So what we have, this motor originally was a 372 cubic inch motor. Over the years I've changed things up a little bit on it. I took it, when I first took the motor to Andy Jensen, he recommended putting a little more cubic inch in the motor, and that will help with spooling up the converter a little bit quicker. This motor is a 400 cubic inch small block Chevy. It has a Dart little M iron engine block with Pro top line, 200cc standard 23 degree Chevy heads. The heads have 208 160 valves in it. The exhaust valves are the Iconel exhaust valves to handle the higher heat from the boost pressure. It's got Crowler stainless steel shaft rockers, comp cams, camshaft. The bottom end is JE pistons with Oliver billet rods and a Dragon Slayer Cali steel crankshaft. The intake is a two-piece intake. The base is a Edelbrock Victor Ram, which I had converted over to fuel injection, and then the top is a sheet metal top that I had fabricated to match the 90mm AccuFab throttle body. The motor is, for the most part, it has really good parts in it, but it's a pretty basic setup. The heads are nothing exotic. Again, the intake has had some work done to it, but it is essentially an off-the-shelf cast intake manifold. So, a little bit about the pieces on the motor. We run twin precision 67, 66 billet wheel turbos. T4 housing. It's a .96 AR on the housing, which is like the inner size of the housing. Dual tile wastegates. These are their 44mm wastegates. Same thing with the blow-off valve, tile blow-off valve. AccuFab 90mm throttle body. Autometer regulator. That's their Pro regulator. Actually, the whole fuel system is an autometer system, or not autometer, aeromotive system. We run 2 fuel pumps in the back with 3 fuel filters. Those are all aeromotive. The injectors, I used to have a set of 160-pound Ford type injectors in it. Had some problems with them leaking after about 10 years. So we switched over to a set of Holley 160 pound/hour injectors, which are a touch on the big side for driving around, but they work really well at the track. So just tuning it is a little bit of a challenge sometimes. We run an air-to-air intercooler. This is a 4-inch Garrett core with, let's see, we run 2.5-inch pipes out of the turbos into the intercooler, and then a 4-inch pipe, you can see, that runs down underneath and back up into the manifold there. The intercooler was done by Ron Shear at Shear Fabrication, and he does some really nice work. Good guy to work with. The ignition system on the car is a little bit different. I run an Electromotive Tech 3R engine management system. This is a waste fire type ignition system, so instead of running 8 coils like an LS motor, this runs 4 coils, and there's a waste fire with each firing of the coil. So a live cylinder will get the ignition, and there's a cylinder that's down will get the waste fire. It's an older system, but it works really well. You'll see, like this ignition system has a 60-tooth trigger wheel, which provides a lot of accuracy for ignition timing versus, so there's some, like an MSD system might have a like a 4-magnet wheel. So you'll see on the new Hollies, they have pretty much the same 60-tooth trigger wheel with the new like Holly HPs and Dominator systems. So even though this is an older system, it works really well. It doesn't have all the functions that the newer systems have, but as far as fuel and ignition control, it does just as good as anything else. We run a Be Cool radiator in the car. It's worked very well. Have a little bit of a leaking problem out here right now, but this radiator works real well. In fact, we had 2 Spall fans on that. I think they're 13-inch Spall fans with this radiator, and can pretty much drive the car in any temperature. As I said, we took this car on drag week, and some 80-degree days, pulling a trailer, driving the car 250 miles a day, and it never got over 200 degrees. So radiator works very well. We do run a mechanical water pump. A lot of people go to the electric pumps. I again went for reliability with this car and stuck with the mechanical pump. That is a Stewart stage 2 pump, which works real well. The headers. The headers on the car were originally made by Nelson Racing Engines. That's who I originally purchased the motor from way back in like 2005. As I said, though, since then we've made some changes with the motor, and it's gone over to Andy Jensen to have work done, and actually been built a couple times by Andy.